Man, for the love of, did you see this California story? A Los Angeles contractor allegedly took $23 million that was supposed to feed and house homeless people. And instead, reportedly, it went to mansions, luxury cars, vacations, designer crap, even private school. Are you kidding me? And the worst part is, nobody's shocked. Because this is what happens when you build a giant money pipeline with weak oversight and zero consequences. This isn't one bad apple. This is a rotten system, and Newsom owns the outcomes. If you love explosive content like this and want to see more, click that subscribe button.
According to a new book, California Governor Gavin Newsom helped fund a bronze statue of himself that's sitting inside San Francisco City Hall.
Why is he commemorating anything for being mayor of San Francisco? The city's never been the same. Like when he was mayor, he wasn't mayor. He was busy trying to be governor. Then the city went to hell. Then he becomes the governor of California trying to be president, and the state goes to hell. Yeah, he's never doing his job.
I agree with that message. I just hate that it's coming from Greg Gutfeld, but it is true. California Governor Gavin Newsom somehow finds ways to reveal his narcissism is even worse than we previously expected. And he is funding projects for his own vanity, even as he gets blowback over his glazing of right-wing figures on his new podcast. So, in fact, there was this bust of Newsom in San Francisco City Hall, and a new book exposes the origins of this monument and how it was funded. Now, before becoming governor of California back in 2019, that terrible, fateful day.
And speaking of owning the outcomes, bro, can we talk about the fact this guy's allegedly out here helping fund a bronze bust of himself in San Francisco City Hall? Let me stop right there. A bust of the sitting governor. Like we're in ancient Rome and he just conquered Gaul. According to reporting tied to a new book, he reportedly helped raise money for this thing, soliciting donations, the whole deal. And I'm sitting here going, wait, hold on. While regular people are getting crushed by cost of living, while cities are falling apart, while taxpayers are watching homeless money evaporate, this is the priority? And yeah, I know, it's not state funds, it's private fundraising, blah, blah, but that's the tell. That's the mindset. Image first, results later, or never. Tell me in the comments, does that scream leadership to you or pure vanity?
So at the same time, Newsom also said, I don't want to call it embarrassing, but it's a strange thing. I'm just awkward about it. But now the word is out. Like pretending as though he didn't ask for this. I mean, it's embarrassing. He's so humble. This is so embarrassing for him. Like he's such a snake. Okay, so here's the bust. It's as ugly as his political record is. No offense to the artist who created the bust. And it turns out that, Newsom lied. What a shocker. In fact, he helped raise money for the bust. He solicited donations himself.
Man, and the crazy part is, he tried to play it off like, aw, shucks, this is just awkward. Like he just wandered into City Hall one day and whoops, there's a bronze version of himself staring back. Come on, actually, scratch that. It's not awkward. It's calculated. Because when the story hits that he allegedly helped raise money for it, soliciting donations and all, suddenly the whole I'm embarrassed routine turns into damage control theater. And I'm supposed to believe that? Please. And speaking of humble, dude, humble leaders don't need a commemorative bust while their state's dealing with exploding costs, crime headaches, and people sleeping on sidewalks. They just don't. So what do we get? A governor who smiles for cameras, dodges responsibility, and then acts surprised when the receipts show up. Predictable. Absolutely predictable. Tell me I'm wrong. Is this leadership or is it brand management?
Knee pads to CEOs, and I think it
not
does.
Handing them out,
and it does.
I do have a few if you'd like.
And
I don't know.
And honestly, it sounds.
By the way, I'm not kidding. They're the new Trump signature series knee pads. Yeah, and they are available online. I told you the last one sold out.
And I just want to sort of.
It's a serious moment. It actually, but we laugh. Anyway, these are available and in bulk too.
But I want.
Man, and speaking of brand management, let me stop right there. Because the whole Newsom vibe is always props, polish, and PR, never results. And then you get this absolutely weird little cultural side quest. The Trump-branded knee pads. Clip plays. Okay, deep breath. What the hell are we even doing? This is how unserious politics gets when the left can't argue policy, so they pivot to merch, props, and cheap snark. Haha, knee pads. Cool. Meanwhile, people can't afford rent. Small businesses are getting squeezed, and the streets look like a damn third world encampment in some areas. And here's the irony, they mock sycophants. But Newsom's whole career is basically audition tape behavior, say whatever plays in the room, kiss up to the global elite, then come home and act like he's saving California. Anyway, let's talk about where the real money went.
This man was contracted with the city and county of Los Angeles to house and feed up to 600 homeless people, but instead he was misusing tens of millions of dollars to live a luxurious life. Exclusive Fox video shows the Fed's early morning bust here at the LA mansion. 42-year-old Alexander Suker was arrested. Suker's $125,000 Land Rover was also seized by law enforcement. The Feds say Suker defrauded the city and county of LA out of $23 million in taxpayer dollars for not only his mansion and car, but a second home in Greece, luxury vacations, designer clothes, and private school.
Dude, you want to know what audition tape behavior looks like in real life? It looks like $23 million taxpayer money meant to house and feed up to 600 homeless people in LA, reportedly getting routed into some contractor's personal luxury tour. And before someone jumps in with, well, that's just one bad actor. No. Let me stop right there. One guy doesn't just wake up and pull off a scam that big unless the system is basically begging to be robbed. Weak oversight, rubber stamp contracts, everyone patting themselves on the back at press conferences while the streets get worse. Federal agents allegedly rolled up on this guy, mansion, fancy SUV, the whole thing. And the accusations are he's buying luxury vacations, designer clothes, even private school tuition. For hell's sake, that money was supposed to help the most desperate people in the state. And Newsom's machine? Somehow always shocked, always surprised, predictable.
California Governor Gavin Newsom helped fund a bronze statue of himself that's sitting inside San Francisco City Hall.
Why is he commemorating anything for being mayor of San Francisco? The city's never been the same. Like when he was mayor, he wasn't mayor. He was busy trying to be governor. Then the city went to hell. Then he becomes the governor of California trying to be president, and the state goes to hell. Yeah, he's never doing his job.
I agree with that message. I just hate that it's coming from Greg Gutfeld, but it is true. California Governor Gavin Newsom somehow finds ways to reveal his narcissism is even worse than we previously expected. And he is funding projects for his own vanity, even as he gets blowback over his glazing of right-wing figures on his new podcast.
Man, and that's the part that makes me crazy. Because after you hear $23 million for the homeless, allegedly turned into mansions and vacations, your brain wants to go, okay, that's the scandal. Right? But no, scratch that. Because the fraud is the symptom. The real disease is a system that throws money like confetti, pats itself on the back, and then acts shocked when somebody pockets it. And speaking of patting themselves on the back, can we talk about the whole bronze bust thing again? I know. Why are you stuck on a statue? Because it tells you everything. When a leader's orbit is vanity projects, glossy photo ops, and look at me vibes, accountability is always the first thing to get cut. He'll play awkward and humble on camera, allegedly, while the state keeps bleeding cash. This isn't compassion, it's chaos with a PR team.
President Trump blocked the governor from speaking at the official U.S. pavilion in Davos called USA House. The White House isn't denying it. So here's how the day played out. President Trump gave a lengthy speech at the World Economic Forum. The governor was scheduled to speak at the official USA venue, the USA House, later.
Thank you.
We've learned today Trump's State Department coordinated with USA House this year to line up American speakers and leaders for events throughout the week there. About 2 hours before the governor was set to speak, he was told it was canceled, and his office has said it has proof it was because of pressure from the White House.
Man, and speaking of PR teams, let me stop right there because this next part is where it gets hilarious. So Newsom flies around acting like he's some global visionary, and reportedly he gets his little Davos moment yanked. Canceled, last minute. And his office is out here like, we have proof it was pressure from the White House. Okay, deep breath. Why are you even over there in the first place? California's got homelessness exploding, costs through the roof, cities deteriorating, yet he's chasing camera angles in Switzerland like it's an audition tape for higher office. And look, I'll say it. If you're going to posture on the world stage while your state's bleeding, you deserve to get sidelined. That's not being oppressed. That's consequences. That's reality smacking vanity in the face. What do you guys make of that move, smart check or total humiliation?
Part, no one in Davos knows who third-rate Governor Newsom is or why he is frolicking around Switzerland instead of fixing the many problems he created in California.
Man, okay. Deep breath, because this is where it gets even dumber. And speaking of Davos and the whole global stage fantasy, let me stop right there. What are you even pitching overseas when your own backyard is on fire? Because the second you bring up economic leadership with Newsom, it's like watching someone explain rocket science using a fortune cookie. He talks like he's managing some sleek powerhouse economy. While regular people in California are getting crushed by cost of living, businesses keep packing up, and the state's priorities look like a chaotic group project with no adult supervision. And yeah, he can pose for cameras, throw out buzzwords, and play Mr. International. But the results at home are brutal. Homelessness is still a disaster, infrastructure's a mess, and oversight is apparently so weak that fraudsters can allegedly treat taxpayer money like a personal Amex. Tell me I'm wrong. What model is he selling here?
I think it's very, very ironic that Governor Newsom, who strikes me as Patrick Bateman meets Sparkle Beach Ken, may be the only Californian who knows less about economics than Kamala Harris.
And speaking of that model, let's zoom out for a second, actually. Scratch that. Let's zoom way out. Because this isn't just one allegedly crooked contractor or one dumb oversight failure. This is what happens when a state runs on vibes, press releases, and elite applause instead of accountability. You've got regular people getting crushed by the cost of living, businesses packing up and leaving, and the state lurching from budget panic to budget panic like it's some normal season of life. Meanwhile, the streets in major cities look like a third world campsite and the roads feel like you're driving on the moon. And here's the part that fries me. They'll brag about historic spending, bold investments, compassion, all that theater, then the results are worse and nobody gets fired. Nobody resigns. It's just more slogans, more taxes, more excuses. What are we even doing?
He was asked to give a speech on his signature policies, but he's not speaking because what have his economic policies brought? Outward migration from California, a gigantic budget deficit, the largest homeless population in America, and the poor folks in the Palisades who had their homes burned down. He is here hobnobbing with the global elite while his California citizens are still homeless. Shame on him. He is too smug, too self-absorbed, and too economically illiterate to know anything.
Okay, deep breath, because I can already hear the spin machine warming up. It's complicated. It's a one-off. It's just a bad contractor. No, stop. This is what happens when you build a whole governing model around dumping taxpayer cash into buzzword programs with flimsy oversight and then acting shocked when somebody allegedly walks off with $23 million meant for the homeless. And here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. If the Fed supposedly found this kind of lifestyle upgrade, mansion, luxury cars, vacations, then how many smaller schemes are still floating under the radar? Seriously. Actually, scratch that. Of course, more is coming. You don't get this level of rot without a culture that rewards headlines over results. So yeah, I'm calling it. The investigations keep digging, the receipts keep dropping, and Newsom's Future President Act? Cooked. Tell me I'm wrong in the comments.
TikTok users say they are being censored, and the governor of California says his state is launching an investigation. Gavin Newsom announced the probe on X. He says we'll review whether TikTok is violating state law by censoring Trump-critical content. He said some users had complained they were barred from posting the phrase Epstein. TikTok denied those claims and says users just experienced a glitch caused by a power outage at a data center.